understands runs and how they work. So, you know, bad matchup for the Pelicans because any other team, I think they would have gotten that one done. They were neck and neck through the third quarter. But like I said, they got out hot to begin in the first half, but the Lakers undercomposed, and they got the game down to close the gap only by 1, 58-57 at halftime. So that just shows, of course, LeBron. He's been here, he's done that. You could say he's the first or second best player in the league. So bad matchup for the Pelicans, but they played a tight game last night or Friday night, and in the third quarter though they just came out a little slow, and the Lakers took advantage of it, won that quarter 27-16, and then from that point, the Pelicans aren't really a good come from behind team. They're more of a take a lead and continue to push the pace. But it was a good game. Future All-Stars against the current ones. Zion 21-12-4. LeBron was 21-11-8. So he's there now. He's so young. He just needs to structure his game a little better. Right now it's real raw, real energy. Lonzo did not play last night, so that kind of played into the part because Lonzo was good at slowing pace, pushing pace, knowing when to, speed it up or slow it down. But B.I.'s going to be good for the years to come. Redick was good, JJ. Do I think they're missing? Haynes was good. I'm not sure if they're missing anything. I think it's more of just they got to continue to play together, and they got to be put in tough spots to help them grow. So 112-95, the Lakers won that game. And then the last game of the night was the Clippers-Kings. Both the Kings are a weird team too because they have the firepower. They really do. They play so fast. They might be the fastest team in the league right now. They play high energy. They have good size on the wings. They can defend when they want to defend. They were trading buckets early. Both teams were firing from three and they were hot. But PG was the difference maker in the first half. He was going bonkers. But you can just tell from the Clippers, it just looks a lot better than it did last year. And I'm not saying it's all on Montrez. I'm not saying it's all on Doc, because it's not. But these guys saw what happened, and I think they they swallowed the pill of reality, and they realized that they can't be lazy. They can't miss games. They need to get this chemistry down. And unless they want to go down as one of those teams that flaked in history, then they need to get it together. And they look like they are, because they play super unselfish. Even down to the lineups. I really like how Morris took a step back and said, "Hey, me and Lou can run the second unit and just come in and kill teams easily off the bench." So that's a big role. That's a big step for a player that's not a superstar, but he's an all-star caliber player. So they're just unselfish. They're playing really well. Their defense is really good. They slide. They connected by a string. They were just lights out, and they shoot from the three really, really well. They're gonna be a problem. I do like the way they look more this year than they did last year. But we'll see. 138-100. The game got out of sorts. The first half, the game was close, but in the third quarter, 37-16, the Clippers won that. They came out firing from three, and then it was just a massacre. It was a wrap from there. Took the heart out of the Kings. Kawhi 27, 6 and 4. So it was a wrap. It was a wrap after that. And that was your Friday games. And then Saturday, I'll just give you a couple headlines. James Harden had a triple-double, the first triple-double in the debut by anybody. He was spectacular. 32, 14, and 12. Off the jump, watching him, I didn't know what to expect, but his energy was different. He wanted to be there. He wanted to play. Right off the jump, a couple times you would see, like early in the game, shots that he would usually dribble, and shoot. He wasn't even thinking about shooting. He was trying to look to get his teammates involved, which is what you have to do, create that chemistry early. He's facilitating well, and I think, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I'm not changing that because at first I wasn't sure the approach that Harden would take going there. So that's why, and I really liked the way that the Nets looked without him. But now watching that one game, now of course Kyrie was not back yet, but just watching that one game, I don't see how it's gonna be a problem. I really don't, because they have so much off the bench still. They kept so much in the trade. They have. Now I know people are gonna say James Harden is a dribble, but he's not really a selfish player. He's led the league in assists before. He's always up there in assist leaders, and even just last night you saw he was getting people involved. I think that the first option will be right out the jump, first, second quarter, third. Let Kyrie do what he got to do. Let him just go to work. James is gonna be looking for him. James is cool to just kind of settle, relax, but I think he has no problem swinging the ball to KD or swinging the ball to Kyrie and let them get a bucket because he likes his assist total. And then he can score on his own, and of course KD doesn't care about getting the ball 100 times to shoot 30 times, because he can get 30 on 10 shots, 12 shots. So I do think it'll work. Even if I saw a couple times James was in there with just the reserves, just the backups, which I don't think he has a problem, because he can be the best player on the court. Then it'd be the same as if he was back in Houston, because they really had not all-stars on their team, they just had guys. So I do think it'll work. And even if Kyrie has an attitude, I do like the pairing of just KD and James Harden. They both went for 30 in their debut. Now I get it was the Magic, but the Magic are playing pretty decent. Vucevic had 34, 10, and 7. They won by 122 to 115. I just liked the way it looked. I thought it would look a little different, but it looked a little different than what I thought, in a good way. So I do like the way it looks, and I think they'll be solid moving forward. Spurs won against the Rockets, 103 to 91. Christian Wood still playing great basketball, 24, 18, and 3. The Rockets just need to get Victor in there as fast as possible. Pistons Heat. The Pistons destroyed the Heat, 120 to 100. No Tyler Hero though. No Leonard. No Harkless for the Heat. No Butler. Bam was back, but they didn't really have a true point guard for the Heat last night, and Jeremy Grant is a pretty decent player. He's playing really well, most improved player so far for me. Grizzlies came down to the wire against the 76ers and they won. Ja Morant came back off his injury, and like I said, the Grizzlies are a good team. They were just missing their point guard, their number one guy. 17, 6, and 1 in his return. That is Ja Morant. So I do like the Grizzlies as a sleeper team. And then Trailblazers Hawks, 112 to 106. Like I said again, the Hawks were hot that night, but Dame and CJ are just a different breed. They get so hot easily. They play decent defense, and you don't want a close game with them because they can hit shots when it matters. Dame 36-7-7. He won that game for the Trailblazers. And then last night, Knicks Celtics. Oh my goodness. The Knicks just took care of business against the Celtics. No Tatum, but they went 10 deep last night. The Celtics did, and they just did not play well. 15% from three, 30% from the field. For the Celtics, they weren't shooting well. They got into a big slump, and the Knicks took advantage of it. They shot 38% from the three, almost 50% from the field. They were just dominant last night. Dominated the rebound battle, 43-29. So they controlled the clock. They were just dominant last night. They were getting whatever they wanted to. So the Knicks show promise some games, but like I said, they're too on and off for me. Bulls Mavericks. The Bulls won 117-101, even despite Luka's 36, 16, and 15. He had 30 in the first half, so he was real quiet in the second half, only 6 points. But this is what I'm talking about with the Bulls. They're capable of outscoring any team on a given night. All they have to do is put their mind to it. In the second quarter, they outscored the Mavericks 40-29, got them a little lead, and then they were consistent through the second half to keep the lead where it was.